Hey everybody, this is Howard speaking. This is also my pen name is also Donte-highwater on Wattpad, and today I'm thinking about reading off Chapter 9 and what I'm writing. I started Chapter 9 not quite a week ago. I made like 6 pages within 2 days or something like that. I think it's really good. I did a lot of editing, added a lot of things. So if it still sounds a little rough, that's the reason. So I'm still working on it. I think it's going really, really well. It reads well, and that's what's all important, and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to start reading. Go full screen here. Oh, here we go. Now, oh God, what is this? Of course, I click on it and nothing happens. Thank you. Jeez. To give you an idea of what Chapter 9's about, this is a continuation. I think Chapter 7. I really can't remember at this point because I had to toggle between Ty, which is actually in this is a girl's name, with what Charles T. Appleton's going through, okay, and I think it's Chapter 7 where the counselor, after the meeting of the minds, it's just a meeting, okay, that these people that the coven go through every so often, and it was about finding Charles T. Appleton because Charles T. Appleton is very important, okay. And they need to find her before Lauren finds Charles T. Appleton. And Charles T. Appleton and Lauren used to be physically active with each other. He was underage, and she was in her 20s, somewhere in her mid-20s. And then she dumps him after they spent a night together. And there's a reason for it. Okay, so the counselor in the chapter, after Ty brings her presentation, okay, and it tells everybody, because she was able to take the DNA from Lauren's child. She said it was from the afterbirth, and apparently they kept samples and in a holding facility, and she took it, and she was able to use the DNA to track the location of where Charles T. Appleton is in a small confine, okay, area. She doesn't know exactly where the location is, but she has an idea. And she has a spirit guide, and she has this spirit animal, okay, and it happens to be a timber wolf. So she was saying that I could use my spirit animal to help find him once I get to New York. She's very, very confident, okay, of herself. I like this character. She's really she's a bookworm, and she likes to write short stories in her downtime, and I really like her. I think she's a really kind of a cool character. I think after this book is written, I think I could definitely write something between just Ty and Aubrey, which is the girl that which is the daughter of Lauren, and so I could definitely, it's I kind of where I kind of want to go with is that it could be like one of those times where you see something happening but you don't know the whole story. And if you kind of remember Spider-Man and the first one with the Green Goblin and the kid, the only thing he sees was that Spider-Man killed his father, but he doesn't know the whole story behind that. It's kind of where I kind of want to go with that, but who knows? I don't know. I don't want to force my story to go in that direction if it doesn't want to go in that direction, because it's I just don't want have something that's forced. Want something that flows and flows well. And so chapter 9, the counselor showed her on chapter 7 this illusion, this trick, okay? And so she couldn't sleep, so she spent most of the night trying to figure out how he did this, which she did a lot more grander scale of an illusion to do a presentation to the meaning of the minds. It took her hours to figure out. It didn't really take her that long. So she's very gifted as a coven, and it goes into a little detail of how these people got to be where they're at. They're hidden away from society. They really don't talk to anybody but themselves. They have to go out, and when they do go out, it's called missions. They go into missions. So men are called warlocks, and women are called witches, obviously. And you're getting a sense that this was just a name that was branded to them, probably by silly superstition, from thousands of years or even hundreds of years ago, because these people can live to be they can almost seem like they're invincible, but they're not. They can die, and when their time comes, they too can die and everything. They just live for a very, very long time. So this is the Conduit. This is chapter 9. I'm going to read probably the whole thing. Because it's really only 7 pages, and I think it's really written well. I think I did a good job on it. So here it is, chapter 9. Ty holds a spinning universe inside her tiny hand, just like how the counselor showed her during the sharing of the minds yesterday. She worked on it during another sleepless night. It's been a problem of hers of some time now. But this time, there's a reason for her sleepless night. This time, she has a mission to work on, and she doesn't want to disappoint the counselor. The counselor showed her the illusion of a spinning universe floating above a palm of his hand. It impressed Ty, but she knew she would figure it out soon enough. It was the nimbulous cloud that kept her up all night for weeks to work on. She figured that the same illusion that made the spinning universe was in fact the same that made the nimbulous cloud. After all, the counselor had already told her. All she had to do was put it all together. All she had to do was put it together, which she did with only a few hours. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to find where I'm at now. The counselor already told her all she had to do was put it all together, which she did in only a few hours. The hard part was keeping her mind focused on what she thought the universe looked like that that she saw in pictures. It also didn't take long for her to add her own touches to and style to her own creation. She found the exercise to be enlightening and useful. It's all about focus and concentration, which she felt was lacking in her own life. Ty gazed upon it with a light heart and smiled, feeling the tension of life's worries melting away from her as she spins the solar system around in her palm. If one were to be taken in, one would believe one actually holds the universe in their own hand. But the feeling of importance is an illusion unto itself. You're just a collection of energy that I had formed from my subconscious thought. You are nothing more than a projection of thought spinning on the palm of my hand, she said, flipping through planets just before it went out. The counselor promised her that things would look better in the morning. The truth is it hadn't. Things looked more out of focus than the day before. Or perhaps that too was an illusion. The thought brought a smile to her as a knock fell on her door. "Just a minute," she said, getting up from the chair. "I'm coming," she yelled again, getting dressed for the day. Through the peephole, she sees Adler standing in front of the door. "Adler," she said, opening the door, "what brings you in this early hour?" "The counselor said that you have a week in order to put a team together. I want a chance to be part of your team. And why should you come to New York with me?" said Ty, matter-of-factly holding the door with her hip. I've never been to New York." "It's not a pleasure trip. It's business." Adler fiddles with his hands. "Yes, I know, but I believe I could be some service. And besides, have you ever been alone with people that aren't Coven?" "And I suppose you have, Adler?" "Well, no, not exactly." "Then what's your point?" "Well, I have a lot of things on my mind, and I don't have time talking to you about this," said Ty, closing the door on Adler. Adler places his foot as a wedge between the door and the frame. "I want to go because I'm also a non-ranking warlock," he shouted. "A non-ranking? Did you place a third? Did you place second or third a week ago?" "Yes, but they stripped me from it." "And how did they strip you from your ranking?" "I cheated." "Cheated? How on earth did you cheat on ranking?" "Look, it was a stupid thing." "Okay, fine, I'll tell you. There was a bet that I wouldn't go into the Grandmaster's books." "Christ, Adler, why aren't you in jail?" That was a stupid thing to do." I know. That's why I need to work with you on this." Ty leans onto the door for support. It's the most unbelievable thing she's ever heard. The ranking system was put in place to protect Coven members. The higher the level, the greater their responsibility. If one was to fake, or in this case cheat, their ranking, it could mean, "Okay, look, I'm not saying yes to you coming along with me, but I'll at least think about it. The counselor said I can go alone if I wanted to." Adler looked dumbfounded. "Alone? Why are you so special that he gave you the choice?" "Because the counselor knew that someone would come by and offer their help to me. The counselor is testing me if I'll make the right decision." "He's a crafty old man, I'll give him that. Let me think about it for a while, okay?" Adler nods his head. Okay, I'll take what I can get. Thank you. All right, but don't bug me about it. If you do, I'll drop you from the list. Adler's eyes grew wide. A list? You got a list? Ty shuts the door on Adler, pressing her back up against it, wondering what she got herself into. If she's going to make a team of warlocks and witches, then she'll need to know more about what she's up against. A sigh sprung from her lips. Shit. I'll need to go to the archives. Ty releases her back from the door and went to her writing desk with a calligraphy pen in hand. She dipped the nib into the inkwell and began writing a list of things she needs to look up while being in the archives. The first, of course, is Lauren. Next was Celia, Lauren's mother. The rankings of Lauren and Celia, training and the missions they handled, the years they served, and what caused Celia to break away from the coven. There are of course stories of what happened. A story that comes to mind was when Celia became lost of her grief. The story went that Celia lost her husband in a mission that Abner, went on against Celia's wishes. The mission was to save a young warlock from a mission that was above his abilities. After the death of Abner, the coven adopted a ranking system. The young warlock's name was Bram. I have to do this. Oh, you know what? You would think Microsoft had figured this one out. The mission was to save a young warlock from a mission that was above his ability. After the death of Abner, the coven adopted a ranking system. The young warlock's name was Bram. He too died during the failed mission. Slowly, as time went on, Celia's mind deteriorated. Celia took her child, Lauren, and left the coven with a book of shadows. Some might believe that Celia stole the book of shadows, hoping to resurrect Abner. It was unclear how he died, since it was nearly over 100 years ago, and records didn't survive or were seldom written back then. What happened to Bram is of no importance to me or to the mission that I'm about to undergo. What's at the heart of the mission is reaching Charles T. Appleton before Lauren realizes his importance. The idea of Lauren using her daughter for this reason makes my skin crawl. Still, I must go to the archives and learn all that I can before deciding of whom I should bring with me. Maybe I can speak with the counselor. It may be possible that he can give me a pass so I don't have to deal with the one that manages the archives. Ty sits on a chair by the writing desk with her hand held out. She imagines a place where there is grass, trees, and water. She imagines a light breeze, seeing the waters ripple as it gently glides across the open still waters, where the fish and birds swim. She looks at her open palm, seeing a world that she created by her own thoughts spinning around on her palm. With her left hand slowly spinning the picturesque vision, It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, she said, hoping to see a place like hers someday. The real reason isn't getting a ranking or being noticed by her own people. It's been a dream to be with others that aren't her own. She saw photographs of what the outside world looks like, and from the moment she wanted to be a part of it. The running streams, the stillness of a lake. Once her father gave her a magazine that was filled with many animals that rivaled her own imagination. Her people have lived inside the mountains for thousands of years, or perhaps millions, but no one really knows for sure. But that wasn't always the case. There was a time when covens lived among people. We used to breathe and wake up to the same blue sky as everyone else. When others died off, leaving the ones different to live, the word spread fast that our people laid with devils and our women gave birth to them. Soon people came with pitchforks and torches, burning our houses, scaring our young children with violence. Drowning, burning, stabbing didn't kill us. But soon they discovered that beheading was the key in driving us out. So we lived in mountains below the surface, only coming out when necessary. Again, that was a long time ago, she thought, making her way down the hallway, hoping she'll be able to see the counselor to show him the trick that he showed her just a day ago. Ty rehearsed her demands inside her head repeatedly until it sounded perfect to her, which nothing ever does. Counselor, it would be a great service to me and to the coven if I have access to the archives. Ty shakes her head disagreeably. No, that doesn't sound right. It needs to sound more humble. Let's do it again. Counselor, I humbly ask you for access to your archives, she said, shaking her head agreeably. If I was a counselor, I would grant me access, she said jokingly. Ty feels the rough surface of the hallway Ty feels the rough surface of the hallway as the torches lights her way. The counselor's door isn't that far, she thought, still feeling the sandy rock as she makes her way down. The flames of the torches crackle and pop, smelling the tar to keep the torches lit for hours. Every so often a guard comes by and replaces a torch until the late hours of the night. Then only the main paths are lit, leaving the rest dark. And that is where I'm at. And this is where I'm at in chapter 9. I do know where I'm going with it. I stopped there because I wanted to think more on how I wanted to write it, so I'm doing it a little bit more slowly. Actually, I'm really writing this pretty quickly. I love how this turned out. I really did. It turned out really, really well. And I hope this would excite you to want to read more about this book that I'm writing, because I think it's very interesting and it's a lot of fun. it's kind of funny in a way because some chapters kind of have a gumshoe detective feel to it, kind of, but not really. Another character that kind of that's following, Charles T. Appleton is a detective, and that's because Alexia, her parents couldn't make up their minds of what to call their daughter, so it was between Alex and Jessica. So her name is now Alexia, or something like, and I thought it was kind of a neat thing. It was funny because I misspelled the name altogether, and I thought I spelled it one way, and turned out it wasn't. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool because it sounds like two names in one. A lot of people do that, so I thought I'd stick with it because I like the she liked the name. It's a pain in the butt because my programs constantly want to correct that, so I put it into the dictionary so it wouldn't, it would just ignore it, and so I'm really grateful for that. I'm planning on doing Stephen King. Do a reaction video with Stephen King probably shortly after I'm done with this, and I'll drop it later on. I'll drop it as soon as I'm done with it. I'm going to do very little. I don't do any editing, so after I'm done, I usually shoot it out, to YouTube. I kind of, in some weird way, kind of do my own editing as I'm doing this. So when I'm doing the reaction to Stephen King and his family, and that's a cool one because he has him, his wife, and his son, and Owen, and if I can remember his name, or his wife's name is oh shoot, it's going to come right to me, and I just dropped the ball right there. But anyway, it's their perspective. He didn't talk. Owen didn't talk at all. He was just there. If he did, he didn't talk much. And that it's 56 minutes. What I'm thinking about doing is breaking it down into two parts. I'll probably do like 26 and then 30, and I'll do it that way. So it's not just one big long reaction video, and you can watch it whenever you feel like it and everything. So I got 10 views before I went to bed. I actually got a lot of views from yesterday. I was really kind of surprised. It was like a view every hour or something like that. It was kind of funny. But I also posted on Facebook and everything. I'll put the Wattpad address at the bottom. Check it out, please. When you're on Wattpad, you're going to have to make an account. You can't just read. You have to make an account. That sucks. I wish for readers you could just start reading. And like I said, my name's Donte-highwater, and that pen name was a joke that I just came up with, and people really really liked it, so I just kept it. I actually like it. I think it's a kind of a neat pen name, to be honest with you. So comments and everything is greatly welcome. What you see is what you get. I'm going to try to get a high def camera, put on my laptop, one of those small webcam things. They're cheap, they're not that expensive, and I can a little bit better. This looks a little grainy, but it's not bad. For right now, I can live with it. I got the huge upgrade was the microphone, and I'm loving this microphone. It's a Yeti, and I absolutely love it. So, okay. Anyway, I'll be posting this, and then I'll be doing the Stephen King reaction thing. All right. Take care. Bye.